Here in Chicago, Illinois, we're at CPAC Chicago, honored to be joined by Minnesota Congresswoman Michele Bachmann. Congresswoman, good to meet you. Good to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you. Great to be with NRA News. Thank you so much for having me.
Let's start out. I just want to talk about political civility. We live in a political climate right now where you walk out on the Jimmy Fallon show and the band plays a very nasty song. There was a viral video that some miscreant wished colon cancer on Lieutenant Governor Kleefisch of Wisconsin. Is political civility dead in 2012?
Well, we see this kind of thing happen, and it's ugly and it's awful, and it's usually from people who don't want to talk about the issues. And quite honestly, President Obama can't win on the issues. He's a failure, and I think that's why you see this sort of thing. And so it's our job to be able to bring the message back where it belongs, and that's on the issues. And I think when it comes to the NRA, it's very important that we remember that we stand up for our Second Amendment rights. These are inviolate rights, and we need to stand up for them. I've always been an NRA endorsed candidate, proud to. I went through my first gun safety class with my dad when I was 12 years old, and that's where I learned hunting, and we had guns in our house, and we respected them. Our parents never worried about it because we all knew that we would hunt because we respected the guns. And when I was in the state senate, I was proud to sponsor the concealed carry legislation. I believe very strongly that women need the right to protect themselves, and business people need the right to be able to take their bank deposit to the bank and not feel like they're going to do without protection. That's why I'm extremely grateful for the NRA and very grateful for the opportunity to be able to stand strong for our Second Amendment rights.
What does Barack Obama, what kind of threat is he to the Second Amendment? And let's say he were to win a second term, what would happen to the rights of Minnesotans and the rest of America?
No, we all know what's going to happen in a second term. He was all too happy to let his true intentions be known to the communist president of Russia when he said he'd be far more, quote, flexible after the election. Well, get ready. That's what he's going to be. He's going. If we thought he wasn't radical enough in this first time, I mean, Katie bar the door. It's going to be out of control. We can't have a second term. We just can't. This isn't political, and this isn't about the president. It's about us. It's about us, it's about our country, it's about the Constitution, it's about will we even have any rights left? He's stripping us of our First Amendment rights, and don't make any mistake about it. He'd love to strip us from our Second Amendment rights too. That's why we cannot sit out this election. We've got to get involved, we've got to volunteer, we've got to donate money to candidates who need it like me, and we've got to make sure that we do everything that we can to hold on to what we have. We have to take the country back.
Thursday on Capitol Hill, Eric Holder said he was read an email about Fast and Furious.
Yeah,
The term Fast and Furious was in the email, and he said he wasn't referring to Fast and Furious, the program.
Yeah, it's so convenient, isn't it? You know,
it's just how crazy can it be up on your where you work up there on the hill?
Well, it is. I just came from Washington, D.C. right now, and it is crazy. And I just was talking about terrorism and the president, and that's why, again, terrorists are real, and we need to have protection. We need to have protection in this country when we deal with terrorists. But who was it under the Fast and Furious program that Eric Holder was enabling? Terrorists. Terrorists in Mexico. Drug-dealing terrorists. This is unbelievable what's happened in our country, and we have a very good example in the Fast and Furious program. The Obama administration wants to, I think, deny the American people our ability for protection while they're actually arming up terrorists when it comes to drug dealers in Mexico. This is almost like a bad B-rated movie. And this movie needs to change in November, and I fully believe in the confidence of the good sense of the American people. They're going to do exactly that.
What can you do personally? Congress doesn't always have the best ratings, the best approval ratings,
and rightly so.
What do you do to improve that?
Well, do the right thing. I think that you don't do what's political, what's in your political best interest. You do what's right, and you follow the Constitution. And that's really what the Tea Party is all about. President Obama has loved to malign the Tea Party, and it's really very simple. They believe that you stand by the Constitution. You don't spend more money than what you take in, and we're taxed enough already. Well, for the NRA's issues of standing for our Second Amendment rights, that's very Tea Party, because we believe in standing up for the Constitution. We don't think this is an optional document. This is mandatory, and the Supreme Court may treat it like it's optional. They may believe that we're governed by international law, but we aren't. We are governed by the Constitution, and there's no other way to read the Second Amendment other than to say, I, as an American citizen, as a proud woman who lives in this country, I have the right to have an arm and to keep myself protected, and I'm going to stand for that right.
Last question. Tell our listeners, our viewers who have their tourism dollars to spend, why should they visit your beautiful state of Minnesota?
Oh, goodness, I have 10,000 reasons why they should. We have 10,000 beautiful lakes in Minnesota, and the truth be told, it's actually more like 15,000. So we are a great hunting area, fishing area, and there is no other place on the planet except Minnesota in the month of June. January is a little different story, but if you like ice fishing, that's the place to go. But I just want you to know, it's probably some of the funniest. We have a great sense of humor in Minnesota. Funny people, happy people. You just have a good time when you come to Minnesota. So come. People will love it there.
What is it like when you're on those cabins on the ice? What is that experience like?
Hilarious. It's hilarious. We find more ways to amuse ourselves. And I'm not kidding you. It is the sense of humor in Minnesota that we have. You need a sense of humor to get through 6 months of winter. So I love living there. Proud to be a Minnesotan.
Proud to have you on NRA News. Thank you, Congresswoman.
Hey, thank you very much.